Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting starting here at 7:22 on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Before we start tonight's meeting, can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Patty, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Quincy.
Here.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico.
Here.
Councilman Tom A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Robert Scarano.
Here. All right. Let's move on to make a motion to open a public hearing.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
This is a continuation, North Edge Realty Residential Development. Tim, you want to say a few words?
Good evening, Tim Allen, Bibbo Associates representing with me, Council Judge Siebert and Jared and Jesse Boniello. Gus could not be here tonight, but he regards. Just to summarize, we're proposing now, this is the 73 unit plan that we discussed previously at the last meeting. We've now basically brought this to a final design level, which we plan on submitting to the planning board under short order. We're almost done with that plan. Most of the comments that were received, mostly from the WIG, are now will be incorporated in those plans going into the planning board. I apologize for the late responses to all the comments. We were working with the town engineer for the last week or so, kind of fine tuning some of my responses back to the town. Property sits on 15.6 acres. The entry, there are two entries to the property. One is just west of Mayapack Avenue. The other is off of Mayapack Avenue through the adjacent church parking lot. It will be 73 fee simple lots on the property. I think that's all I have, members of the board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready from the public?
Anybody from the public have comments on this? Come on up.
Yeah, Steve C., 258 Mayapack Avenue. Like I said, stayed last month. House is right here.
Huh.
Hey, I got a couple of pictures I'd like to show you.
That's right across this, from the church. So you're right across from the kind of the exit right there.
Yes. Right here is my house.
Okay, thank you.
You hand
You have to give it to the,
Patty, please. Thank you.
we'll pass it down.
Yeah.
My view. This is my house from the road on the other side.
Okay.
Before you start, can I just ask you a question? So there's a number of houses right along your neighbors, I think, along here. Am I correct?
You got to speak into the mic, sir. I apologize. We can't hear you. You
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And you have a number of neighbors.
Here.
Right. Okay. Are those neighbors, and I'm only asking this because I'd want to see if I got the right impression or not when we went on a walk through there, I think last year, that those people were associated with the church.
The first one is, yes,
The first one.
yes,
On-
coming from Route 6.
Okay,
The
the
big brown house
close-
there.
closest to Route 6.
Yes,
And then there's you,
yes.
and then there's your neighbor, and
Yeah.
either one of you are associated with that church.
No, we're not.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, your name again?
Stephen C.,
Stephen C.
58 Mayapack Avenue. Like I said before, I'm against any zone changes to this property. It will have a severe impact on my quality of life with all the traffic. There would be hundreds of cars, buses, trucks coming out of that road every day and night. So my property value would be severely impacted. Who would buy a house like that? I wouldn't, with all that traffic in front of it, coming right to your door. I don't think so, you know? I just wanted to clarify one thing with the easement. The church built the house on the original easement. So the new easement, did the town have to approve that?
On church property, which I'm not sure which church property.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not, what are
This is
you
Mike.
talking about?
Go ahead, Mike.
The road?
Yeah, the original easement was on this side.
Sir, typically easements are negotiated between property owner or the property owner and an individual grants a right to cross property.
Okay,
Towns typically don't approve.
even though the impact with me
Again,
for their decisions?
it's the church's property. So discussion of why they approved the easement or how they negotiated the easement is with the property owner, and that would be,
Mhm.
town has no say in it.
Okay. And we talked about the stormwater last meeting. Did you come up with anything with that? The flooding?
Explain.
Yeah,
Stormwater.
Yes, I spoke with the last meeting. This road pitched to my house. You make that 20-something feet wide, all that water is gonna run down right across the road into my yard.
okay, that would be on a planning board.
Well, we
So,
would have to,
sir, typically applicants will have to submit what's called stormwater prevention plan
Mm-hmm.
approved as part of the site plan approval, and that's through the plan. So the site plan approval itself will have another public hearing that'll be scheduled on the planning board's website.
Well, let me ask a question about that though, just out of curiosity. You're talking specifically about the driveway.
Yes,
Is the driveway considered part of the site plan since it's on the private church property?
That's a good question.
I mean,
and
that's my bigger, and I get where you're coming from is
Yeah.
that, no, they would have to, if they were to make it bigger, they would have to, for a board to get an approval to make it bigger, correct?
So if they're improving it to town standards, which I think is 30 feet, I don't know the present width of the driveway.
Okay.
That would likely be part of the site plan approval. It would have to go through town highway superintendent. And again,
But wouldn't it be a different application because technically it's not part of this site plan? They're doing it sort of as a favor to the church, is the way I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, Tim, you can correct me. So I understand where you're coming from. I mean, who has say over how big that is and how it's constructed? If it's a private property doing a driveway, I assume they have to go through the process to get the correct approvals. What size, do we know what size we're going to be making that, or that is proposed to make that to?
8 feet, 30 feet.
Tim?
Couple notes, the driveway or the roadway at beach town standard would be 24 feet. 24.
Okay.
And there will be 2 new catch basins at the entrance to pick up the water. So it's actually going to be an improvement over what's there today because that water is unmitigated, as Mr. C said, comes out. There's a little high point that goes into the church property and comes at Napac Avenue. We'll be picking up that water at the intersection, and bringing it back to our stormwater system.
So will that be part of the site plan that goes before the planning board, even though it's on the church property?
Fully vetted in the site plan, yes.
Okay.
there are no farm drains on Mampac Avenue. You go down to the county line.
There's going to be some. That's what we're
So
proposing.
you're gonna dig up the whole road and go all the way down to the,
Correct.
okay. All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, come on up.
Sorry. Sorry. At least he's not saying anything bad.
Well, I'll just turn off your mic.
Hi.
I'm Marie C. I actually had emailed a comment regarding this whole situation earlier today. I'm not sure if any of
Yeah, we didn't, I don't think I've received.
I have copies here. If you want, I will.
You could.
Sure.
Yep.
Mary, what time did you send that?
12:30.
Okay. Huh?
12:31 to be exact.
I mean, you know,
Okay.
I'm not seeing it here, but
Okay. But,
I didn't.
thank you.
I'll just read some of it off, the highlight part, because I don't want to spend much time up here. I'm Marie C. I homeowner at 250 Mayapack Avenue, for 28 years. We're writing to underscore the concerns that I raised at, the May 8th meeting. proposed zoning amendment, particularly as our home is located directly opposite the planned access road for the new development. Having seen our surrounding area develop for nearly 3 decades, we understand the vital role of zoning codes. These codes are crucial for preserving neighborhood character, protecting investments, ensuring infrastructure, and safeguarding our environment. The current proposal to amend the zoning code undermines these principles. We have several concerns. First is our quality of life. The access road would be directly across from our property and poses significant concerns for our quality of life. We anticipate a decrease in property value, an increase in traffic, and a loss of privacy. The road's downward pitch towards our home will likely worsen the stormwater runoff problem, which leads to unforeseen mitigation expenses on our end as well. These issues would need to be addressed. The traffic and congestion and safety, we already have a dangerous traffic conditions in that area. We have people speeding and disregarding traffic signs. The development will not only increase the overall traffic volume, but also encourage drivers to use our neighborhood as a cut through to Route 6, because they're going to come down Baldwin Road, they're going to cut through the neighborhood, and they're going to make a right into that development to get to Route 6. Then now they have just taken that whole, Route 6 through like Baldwin Road there out of the equation. They've missed out. They don't have to go through like 4 traffic lights, I think there is over there, and there's accidents like every weekend. Then there's the community benefit. There was the easement agreement for the proposed access road, seemed to significantly benefit the church by correcting a past oversight, which the representative of the church at the last meeting publicly admitted. We are concerned that the lack of consideration for those directly affected, namely us, we shouldn't have to bear the cost of this error. And then, there's environmental issues, which, it's very unfortunate. But I'm just asking that the town board really take these concerns seriously consider them before you warrant making a decision.
So see if I have you correct. Your main concern is the entrance exit onto Mayapack Avenue, not necessarily the development itself along Route 6. Am I
Well,
right or wrong? I hear you,
I mean,
environmental concerns.
there's going to be a development there one way or the, I don't know what size,
Yeah,
going to be at this point, because you haven't,
right,
approved any amendments yet.
right.
But yeah, I mean, of course we're concerned. The road is like directly, you have the pictures here, which I gave you.
Right.
You can see the access road is like right across from my house. So I could see it right out my living room window. I'm concerned, you have people coming in and out, never mind the traffic, but God forbid there's an accident and somebody rams into somebody, I'm gonna have a car rolling into my front yard.
So you're thinking
So
all,
now I have to put up barriers.
so you're thinking that people will come out of that, that new street,
Mhm.
make a left and go through the neighborhoods to
Oh,
get out to
oh.
Baldwin Place as a detour?
Be going down Baldwin Road, and then you make a right onto Kennard.
Yeah.
Okay, and people cut through there already as it is. They don't, abide by the traffic signs, and they speed up and down the road. But what they'll do is they'll cut down Baldwin Road, come through Kennard, down Mayapack Avenue. They'll make a right into that development and come out on Route 6.
And what do the
Having
signs say?
hit all that traffic, done.
What do the signs say? Are there no through signs?
Signs, no,
There's no through,
not even the
Bridge.
stop sign end of the driveway at the church. That used to be up there too, and that was taken down when they redid their driveway. So, yeah, there's no, no through traffic sign. There's only one stop sign in that whole area, and people just don't pay attention.
I mean, we could look at the traffic issues and have our guys go out there and have
Mhm.
appropriate signage. I don't love the idea of people driving through the neighborhoods to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to probably deter that is to make it a gated community where only the residents can go in and out.
Mhm.
That's the only way that you can get around that, that I can see. Then again, I'm not an expert on this, but just wanted to bring that up.
Okay.
Hold on, so coming down, you think that people would make a right onto that road?
They do already.
That, I mean,
Oh, no, they'll,
Now they can't go.
I'm just trying, you think that by the church, they would come through the church and come out?
No,
No, they're going through.
yeah. So when you're going down Baldwin Road
Yeah,
towards,
Fine.
like, say you're coming from Mayapack, or even if you're coming from Route 6,
uh-huh,
and you make the turn into that neighborhood, which is Kennard Road.
okay.
Come down Kennard
Lake Bulb.
Road, down, let me see where maybe.
Mayapack Avenue is that right there?
County line.
Where
Yeah.
County line runs there.
Uh-huh.
Past it, you make turn into the church. And then
Yep.
come out through, I'm not sure what the layout is exactly going to be. But once they detour and they figure that out, believe me, word's gonna spread fast. Hey, go this way. And you don't have to wait at the light in the middle of town there. You don't have to wait at the light by the gas station. You don't have to wait at the light at Mayapack Avenue in Route 6. You've forgone all of that. You just cut right through, done.
Okay.
People do it already. And now they're gonna miss out even on other lights. Now you just cut right through.
Okay.
and I
I
also,
think we,
I have to admit, I agree with your other concern, which is people going out that road and the lights are shining right into your window.
Oh,
I know,
I get that already.
but I know the response we got here, which again, I find hard to believe. I haven't had a chance, we just got it yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to look at the traffic study. But it says headlights from cars leaving this project would not be significantly increased to those leaving the existing church parking lot. I mean, I would think in the mornings and at night that you have all these brand new houses, there's gonna be more traffic. I mean,
Definitely.
I don't, I mean, and the churches, I don't know how often they have services,
Mhm.
but other than
Well-
Sunday morning, whenever their services are.
Yeah,
So, I see where you're coming from. If that road is going directly in towards your front yard and you're gonna have headlights just hitting your windows, I understand your concern.
yeah, it is. I mean, if you do the math, you're thinking probably about at least 150 residential cars. That's given maybe 2 cars per house if it's this size. Plus the Amazon trucks, the delivery trucks, the school buses, whatever. I mean,
Right.
you're talking a very busy road.
Right.
Far as traffic. And, now I'm concerned about the safety of, my pets, my grandkid. We can't, hang out in the front yard now because I'm gonna be worried about, somebody,
Shoot.
Marie, any of your neighbors share the same
I have
concerns?
been to my neighbors. I have not, seen them. I work during the day,
Yeah.
you know,
I would just think if you coming out right here and at those lights right in, some sort of amelioration by the applicant, I don't speak for the applicant or anybody else, but, to block that.
Screening.
Neighbor down the street from me had that same thing. There's some very tall trees that block all those headlights coming out of the park and
yeah.
be happy with that.
Yeah, but
So,
it's just a Band-Aid.
all right,
You-
I'm just saying,
headlight.
yeah,
It's not gonna
okay.
Stop a car from rolling into my front yard
I
if
got it.
somebody hits the car coming out because nobody's abiding by the
Mhm.
signs.
I have a question for Tim. When you come out here onto Route 6, Tim, if you're going west on 6, you can make a right, correct?
Make a right in, yes.
If you're coming out here, can you make a left?
No.
And if you are going east on 6, can you make a left into this?
No,
Okay, so the only thing you can do is go west on 6 and make a right in.
and
The-
out towards Yorktown.
Right.
So-
So if you're going west, the only thing you can do
The only way you can do it is
6
make right.
is make a right off 6.
The idea is to not have people crossing Route 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand that.
You have enough accidents.
Okay. Thank you.
Gas station almost every week.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I thank you for listening and because what I'm saying seriously, I mean,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
thank you very much.
Anybody else? No, anything from the town board?
Yeah, I have one quick question. The information that we got yesterday, was that also, I didn't see a CC, was that sent to the WIG?
As lead agency of the town,
We'll send it.
certainly you could send it if you,
Okay.
Okay.
And you are in possession of the WIG's concerns from May 1st? And the memo for May 1st or?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
that was all in the response.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you.
Guys, we appreciate it. Patty, we're gonna leave this open until July. I appreciate everybody coming out here and making comments on this. But we're gonna leave this open for some more public comments if anybody has some. Okay.
Oh.
I'll make a motion to, you want to say something before I do it?
Yeah, Patty, it was just the information that was provided to the board tonight. Make sure we get a copy of that. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to adjourn to July 10th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, guys. All right, let's go on to number 2 here. We'll just go on to number 2, number 2.
Is that, wait,
Tim, thank you. Thanks, man.
oh, okay. All right.
All right, to add chapter 26 entitled Fire Prevention Bureau to the code of the town of Somers. Patty, can I get publishing and postings first?
That was published in the Journal News on June 3rd and posted on the town clerk's bulletin board.
Thank you so much. Anybody here to talk on that behalf? No? Okay. And this is just a reinstatement of that. It was inadvertently omitted from our code book back in 2020. 2020. So we're just adding it back in. So good thing we caught it. So I'll make the motion to close at the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moved. And I'll make the motion to adopt the local law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
All right.
Thank you. All right, make a motion to open up public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Anybody here for public comment? Come on up.
3 minutes.
I don't know.
2 people rushing the mic.
Well,
Good evening, Honorable Supervisor, Councilman, team town clerk and assistant clerk and our town attorney. My name is Patrick DeSena. I'm a 55-year resident of Somers, living up in the Lincolndale area. I'm a proud senior citizen, husband, father, grandfather, you name it. A proud U.S. Army veteran, having served as a counterintelligence agent in Germany in the 60s. I'm a retired ATT manager and a Bell Labs consultant. And I'm a former Somers councilman, having served here for 16 years. And Tom beat me by 2. In his State of the Town speech, speaking on behalf of the entire town board, our honorable supervisor said, and I'm quoting here, "Each member of the town board has taken a solemn oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States." He said further, that oath is not symbolic. It informs everything we do. Finally, he said, "It is the town board duty to preserve, defend, and protect the constitutional rights of Somers residents, not by merely paying them lip service, but by action." And that is why myself and Herb Oringle, back here, are here this evening. Having come before this board on 2 previous occasions, we pointed out that our Constitution is under almost daily attack. And we've all got to see that. I mean, it's all around us. Under attack and abuse by the current administration in Washington. We pointed out that the First and the Fifth Amendments have been attacked directly. Recently, Article 1, Section 8, promoting the progress of science, and Article 1, Section 9, the writ of habeas corpus, are threatened.
Change that.
And we also cited your oath of office and your duty to support the Constitution. That's all we're seeking is your support of the Constitution. And in light of the supervisor's clear and strong words to take action, we are recommending that the town board move on and adopt the resolution we are presenting tonight, and you all should have copies by now. By doing so, you will demonstrate true leadership in support of our Constitution. And I'm going to read most of the paragraphs of this. There are some I've already mentioned in here about the First and Fifth Amendments and habeas corpus and so forth. But this is a resolution in exercise of your sworn oath to support the Constitution of the United States. It starts, whereas we have as town board members sworn an oath to support the Constitution of the United States, and whereas the Constitution is a statement written at the conclusion of a great American struggle for freedom and independence, and whereas that Constitution applies to and protects all of us, and whereas there is great concern in our community, there is great concern in our community. There are thousands of people in this community of ours. Now, I have not taken a survey, but I know a lot of people in this town are going to sleep at night with fear in their mind. Whereas constitutional rights are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of us all, and whereas constitutional rights are also local rights, be it resolved, therefore, that the town of Somers asks respectfully that the elected senators and congressmen who represent our town push back and take positive and public action to protect and defend the Constitution from attacks by the administration. So we have been coming here since April on this point. There are 2 points, 2 essential points. One is the Constitution is under attack. And number 2, you have sworn an oath to defend it, to support it. So we're asking, we're pleading with you. Please take action on this resolution or one very similar. So far, we have had no response from the town board from our appeals to you, and that is troubling. But I leave you with the words of the supervisor. We don't pay lip service, we take action. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Herb Boringel, 53-year-old. I wish 53-year resident of the town of Somers. And I would like to extend Pat's remarks very briefly. A week ago, I watched Edward R. Murrow's premiere program called Good Night and Good Luck. And it occurred to me that 50 some odd years ago with the McCarthy era, the end result of all of that was that people need to speak up and have their voice heard. A week has passed. A senator from California was handcuffed. Troops are in the streets of the states, of the city of Los Angeles. The president is having a ridiculous celebration of his birthday. It is time for people to speak up and take charge of this country again. And that includes you as board members. It is absurd what's going on. We're moving inexorably towards an autocratic government. So I appreciate anything you could do in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Anybody else have anything to add to public comment?
One more.
Good evening. I'm Gloria Anderson, President of the Heritage Hills Society.
Hello,
And I do
Gloria.
have some comments with respect to item 7 on the agenda. I didn't know if it would be appropriate to make
We'll
an
get-
hour later.
Agenda item.
We'll get-
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see that one.
Okay. Anybody else here for public comment? If there's no other public comment, I'll make the motion to close out public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so moved. Okay. I did a minute. Department reports?
I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Engineering, Tax Receiver, and Director of Finance.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna move right on to there's no town updates I have here for this evening. I'm gonna move on to number 2, affordable housing town code, continuing our discussion there. Dave, you want to come up and?
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. For the record, David Smith, Planning Director for the Town of Somers. So at your last meeting, you were considering zoning text amendments related to the affordable housing component within the code. There are really 2 main revisions that are being proposed. One is to, under the definition of affordable dwelling units, it's proposed to add the language that reads, all affordable units shall be marketed in accordance with the Westchester County Fair and Affordable Housing Affirmative Marketing Plan. That's not management of the affordable units, that's just the marketing component. And that's really the responsibility of the developers who are developing the affordable units, but it means that they're required to market it in a certain way that's prescribed by Westchester County. The other
Hey,
revision
who
is-
checks that to make sure that that happens?
the county does that, and also,
They monitor that?
yes, they do. And in fact, the developers will typically work with a group like the Housing Action Council, who will do the marketing on behalf of the county and on behalf of the developer to make sure that it's done the correct way. The other revision was right now, the code requires in the multifamily residence districts that at least 15% of the units be set aside as affordable under the code. And the model ordinance for Westchester County has it as a 10% figure. So this really puts the town's requirements more closely aligned with the county's model ordinance. So those are the 2 revisions that are proposed in the code. At the last meeting, you issued a notice of intent to act as lead agency under SEEKR. That's the State Environmental Quality Review Act. The notice went out to all the other interested involved agencies, including Westchester County and your own planning board. The county has provided a response letter back. I think that came back in earlier this week. They had no objection to your board acting as lead agency. And they had really no substantive comments on the proposed revisions to the code. I think their language was they lamented that the revisions went from 15 to 10, but they understand that it's still in keeping with the model ordinance under the Westchester County. And then last night, your planning board discussed the matter. They, by unanimous vote, they did not object to the town board acting as lead agency. And they did discuss the matter, but they had no substantive comments to provide to the board. So at this point, you really have, if you so choose, you could declare yourself to be lead agency under SEEKR. And then if you want, the next step is really to hold a public hearing on the proposed text changes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks.
Anybody have any questions for Dave?
No?
Nope. Okay. I'll make a motion to declare the town board as lead agency.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. And I'll make the motion to schedule the public hearing for July 10th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Thank you. All right. Number 3, authorize supervisor to adopt and update the town of Somers' use of the Model T vehicle policy effective immediately. Arnie, I know you, Arnie Gio is here. Arnie, want to come on up?
That's Model G.
Model G.
Guy up. Right. Why are you? Model D, you're Model G.
Anyways,
Ah.
good evening all. Just to update, yeah, to the approval of using the Model T, to local car shows, and I'd like to get permission to take the car to surrounding towns, from the town of Somers. The Elks Club has a car show in the fall, if I'm not mistaken, up at Brewster on 22. I would like to take the car to, these are car shows, to the Veterans
Hold on
Park.
a second, Arnie.
I'm sorry?
Aren't we talking about training the drivers now?
Oh, I'm sorry. There's something on, I'm sorry.
We're talking about.
About training.
It's all right.
Training. Okay, we're talking about training. Okay. I do have several people that are interested in training the car.
Hold on, everybody.
Insurance for.
There's two things on there.
As an
There's two things.
authorized driver,
Talking about the Model T,
authorized trainer.
about the trainers, right? So
Okay, I'm
tell
sorry.
us,
Oh, okay.
They're an
these,
authorized
for
driver.
all these guys up here,
Right.
take us through your process when you, because you are the designated
Okay, here we,
that we have designated as the authority,
yeah, okay.
right, of the
No,
model.
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right.
All right. I do have several people who are interested in driving the car. I know one board member is, maybe 2 or 3. I will say that I got the permission from the town supervisor with the experience that I have working on the cars, sponsoring a Eagle Scout, working on the Model T. I've been working on the car for probably about 6, 7 years now. There is a sequence. I do know that at this present time, I'm working with a person who has been very involved with the town, who has donated a substantial amount of money towards the Bronze Elephant. Leave it like that, like to leave names out for the time being. But there's a sequence, like checking the oil, checking the radiator, how to fill the radiator, how to put oil in the car. Simple maintenance in the sense of, okay, you got to lube a couple things in the front end, not mechanical stuff in the sense of changing the oil. That eventually I like to talked to the town, the highway superintendent, Nick DeVito, at this present time about just changing the oil once a year. Again, the sequence of starting the car, it's not just turning around and turning the key. It's a sequence of applying the parking brake, priming the car, the sense of focus on the car, how to start the car. That's basically it. Maintenance in the sense of checking the air pressure on the car once a year. It's a little bit of mechanical too, but nothing that I would not have a woman do if she's interested in learning how to drive the car.
Does that have an electric starter?
No,
Is it?
sorry,
Come in.
sorry. I wish I can tell you what year it came out. I
Okay.
do know I have a good friend of mine that has a 26.
Talking about,
Yeah.
And for the record, men and women can take this training course
Yeah.
and learn how to drive the car.
Correct.
Yeah, so
But,
Uh,
okay, I understand that they have to meet a certain criteria. They have to be involved with the town, correct?
yes, we would like them part of the town. That is correct. So for everybody out there, for insurance purposes, so Arnie has been great with when it comes to taking care of the Model T. That's one of our prized possessions here in the town. And thank you so much for doing that and overseeing all of this project. And I know you've come to me before and wanting to, people have asked you, can be trained on it. So we came up with some criteria
Correct.
already out there. So they will have to go through a training process with Arnie. I believe it's 7 hours of training, consists of 2 hours of maintenance and operations of the Model T and 5 hours of driving time with the Model T. And that's obviously with Arnie as well there. They need to have a valid driver's license, no incidents for the past 3 years, must have an up-to-date certificate, all that kind of stuff. But we do have the volunteers in the town that come up to you and ask you. I know your other point too about you said before in the essence of time here about being able to take the car to different various car shows, and I think
Events.
and I think you might have something there that you might be you're super proud of that you brought it up here today to show us.
Right.
We're super excited about the Model T as well. It's one of our, like I said, prized possessions here in the town. I don't have any problem with you going and surrounding towns in a certain mile radius. And when we're looking at, 20, 30 miles, the answer would be no.
No, I agree.
But Baldwin Place, good, right? I mean, the car needs to run, the car needs to be used, the car needs to be out on the road. That way we get a longer lifespan of it, even though it's what, 1910 the car is.
17. Now, I will say before I got involved with the Model T, the car sat for over 20 years. And but the time, the effort that Boy Scout put into it, and to promote this car, because I don't own the car.
right.
Everyone in the town owns a car. So they should be aware. A lot of people don't even know how we acquired that car.
Right.
And I promote the car, tell them how we acquired it by Carolyn Wright Reese back in '66. And they're scratching their head. Really? I said, yes, that's all part of the homestead of Reese Park.
Yeah. So I think it's a great thing that you've been doing. You've taken this on. You've been very transparent with me and through every step that you've been doing. And I just, I think town board sees it as well with you and how you take pride in the car during the parades and all that kind of stuff. So, essence of time. Listen, I'll make the motion here to authorize supervisor to adopt and update the town of Somers use of the Model T vehicle policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very much for the
And the next-
approval of that.
Oh, and the next one. Sorry.
Author.
Authorize the supervisor to designate Arnie Gio as the authorized driver and authorized trainer for future drivers of the town's 1917 Model T vehicle, effective immediately. Make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Now,
sir.
if I may say one thing, this past June, okay, this is one of the shows that I've taken the car to, and this is what I walked away with.
It's a nice
Actually,
car.
not I, but the town did. And I will say, any expenses for going to a car show comes out of my own pocket. And, a pleasure about promoting the car and the Somers Historical Society. So I just want to let you know that last year the car was totally idle because the engine got rebuilt, and thank you very much for the funds for doing that. It was well worth it. The car is much easier to start now too, okay? So,
A question, have you any familiarity or ever had this car near, there's a Classic Car Club of America?
no,
I don't know what time frame they are in.
No.
I know Jay Leno's in that,
Sorry.
is,
No,
and I know some people in it, so,
Our car's cooler.
no, sorry.
okay. Thank you.
So if anyone is interested in town board, interested in, contact me and we'll set up some time frames. We'll take it from there.
Thank-
So I will, Rob, in the future, how do you want to handle, in the sense of, or the town board wants to handle about me taking to car shows or just,
You contact my office.
okay.
You come and talk to me.
Supervisor.
All right, just come to my office. We'll talk.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a safe, enjoyable.
Thanks, Arnie.
Thanks, Arn.
Thanks.
Just between us, it's just, it's the liability issue. So you got a permission, you got a slip and whatever, and then
Correct.
then there's, how do you extend the safety and liability coverage to the individual that's been given?
Yep. so-
I think that's why it has to be an employee.
Yeah, and then also,
It
the
had been.
radius, there
Sure,
may be
otherwise it
there may
had
be a radius in terms of the coverage. Is it local?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
That-
matter of,
That's
they have special
that's your-
plates, you can't go on.
straight that,
Yes,
but that's,
we are administering it.
Oh,
yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks, Arnie.
Number 5, authorize supervisor to execute the correction documents for parcel off Watergate, section 27-13 block 1, part of lots 28-28.2 and 28.3 per email dated June 4th, 2025 from Roland Baroni, town attorney. Make a motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 6, authorize the supervisor to execute the engagement letter, the representation letter, and to accept the draft of the compliance examination report from ARPA funding per email dated June 4, 2025 from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. I'll make a motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 7, review referral response received from the Bureau of Fire Prevention, Highway Department, Engineering Department, and the Somers Police Department concerning the request of the town of Somers to formally adopt the roadway that begins at the intersection of Lovell Street and runs directly to west onto Heritage Hills property where it terminates at the intersection of West Hill Drive, a distance of approximately 1/4 of a mile, and establish the legal name as West Ridge Drive. I think you, Gloria, is this what you wanted to come on up and
Thank you. Again, I'm Gloria Anderson, the president of the Heritage Hill Society. So Supervisor Scarano and the board members, I appreciate your letting us speak about this issue. I did want briefly just to correct the way a couple of errors in what is listed on the agenda. We don't want you to adopt the roadway, which implies that we want the town to take over ownership of the street. We want you only to authorize that the street signs that were previously on that road be allowed to be put back up. Also, the Level Street, let's see, it begins at the intersection with Level Street and it runs directly east, not west. And it is approximately 2/3 of a mile in length. The society did submit a letter to town dated December 3rd, 2024, correcting those errors in what previously was submitted. We apologize for that. We just want the record to be clear. The Heritage Hill Society does understand that the fire department has concerns about possible confusion for emergency responders because some of the Heritage Hill street names were the same or were similar to other streets that exist in Somers outside of Heritage Hills. However, West Ridge Drive is unique within Heritage Hills, and there are some reasons why it should be treated differently from the other streets in Heritage Hills, and that we believe the sign should be put back up. First, as far as I could determine, there is no other street in Somers that has the same or a similar name to West Ridge. And with the sole exception of one freestanding housing unit, that is unit number 726, there are no houses facing onto West Ridge. That is, with that one possible exception, no units have ever used or would ever use West Ridge as a street address. All the homes along that area are located in cul-de-sacs that branch off of West Ridge, and each of those cul-de-sacs had its own individual street name until town took them down. West Ridge is the only access road into Heritage Hills from Level Street. It's the main entrance into the west hill of our community. New residents, visitors, and service providers approaching from Level need a street sign to help them find and enter into the community. Also, people trying to leave the community notoriously have difficulty finding their way out. As you probably know from having been in Heritage Hills, it is a maze of dead-end streets and cul-de-sacs. And it would be very helpful if there were a street sign to guide people to the exit. Residents could simply tell their visitors to turn at West Ridge to leave the community. It would be a great convenience, and it would save our visitors and service people from the frustration of wandering around the community looking for a way out. Finally, the beginning portion of West Ridge coming in from Level is a town road. It may have existed before Heritage Hills was even built. The property line for Heritage Hills does not begin until one has driven approximately 100 yards. I'm not good at distances, but that's my estimation. It may be the only town street currently without a street sign. To summarize, replacing the street signs would cause no confusion for emergency responders, and it would be very helpful to the Heritage Hills community. We respectfully ask that the town reinstall the West Ridge Drive street signs. If you have no questions for me, one of my colleagues, another Heritage Hill Society board member, does have a few comments to add.
Yeah, I do have one question.
Yes,
You said the town took down the signs?
yes.
And I mean, maybe a silly question. When and why?
Just what, how long ago when?
Well, I attended a meeting in December of 2020 or
Recent,
2021.
recent or
Well, the town began to make an issue of it. If I can give you a little background. The meeting I attended was with the presidents of the various 30 condominiums, and Tom Tuma was there chairing the meeting. And at that meeting, he requested that the condominiums take down all of the street signs on the West Hill. We declined to do so because when the West Hill was built, the people who built the community were told by the utility providers, Con Ed and NYSEG, that they had to have street signs in order to determine where the shutoff valves were. So the condos did not take them down at that time. I did ask Tom Tuma the reason why they wanted the signs to come down, and he said he thought there could be confusion because there were streets with the same or similar names outside of Heritage Hills, and that the names within Heritage Hills had never been officially approved. I asked him to give me an example. I said, how many times has confusion happened? He said he thought once or twice. I asked him for details about those events when the confusion had arisen, and he told me astoundingly that they don't keep records, and he could not give me any examples that in fact it had ever happened. Also, the security services that we have at Heritage Hills, which monitor all emergency calls and do respond to them, told us that to their knowledge, there had never been an occasion when there was any confusion. And that was the reason why the condo board presidents declined to take the signs down. Despite that, at a time, probably a year ago, I'm guessing, I'm making an estimate, the town simply came in and removed all of the street signs that were on the West Hill in Heritage Hills. And when one of our board members made an application to the town to try to advise, to ask, what do we need to do to have the street signs put back up? He was told that he needed to make an application to the town, which he did, and that's what we're following up on now with you.
To whom did he make that inquiry and receive the reply.
I will let him speak for himself, if
Ah.
that's okay, because our board member Joe Kelly is here and he was tasked by our former president with making the application to the town.
Okay, I just want to address that what was referred out was your second memo. So the revision you sent is
Yes.
what was referred out.
Okay,
I
so,
can't speak to what's written here, but I know that it was the second memo.
thank you.
And I really shouldn't address this, but I will. The issue with the street names, and I'm just gonna throw out a number there. It was 123C Whitetail Drive or Whitetail, whatever, was an emergency call and nobody knew where that was.
Okay,
Instead of saying 123C Heritage Hills, where our emergency personnel could find that,
mhm,
it was called in as Whitetail Drive. And being somebody who called 911 recently, I live above the Amawalk Firehouse, and because you're calling TMC, you're calling down to Valhalla, and these people do not know the town.
mhm.
So that is where the issue lies.
Okay, so there was an occasion.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
no problem.
Okay, and I'll turn this over to Joe Kelly. Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your consideration.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Kelly. I live at Heritage Hills. I'm a longtime Somers resident. I used to live for many, many years over by Dean's Pond. Not that it has any relevance to what we're talking about. I was tasked by our former president, Don Rubino, to look into getting the sign replaced on Westridge Drive. What I found out was I spoke to several people within the town, and Dave Smith, I believe his name is, gave me the most direction as far as he looked up the site plan, and he said, well, the problem is that when you originally filed the site plan that was approved, no name Westridge Drive was not on that street. So he says that's really what started the whole problem. It should have been officially put on that plan. So the way to correct it is to make an application to the town is what we did. And that original letter that was written was mine with all the errors because I'm not that smart. But anyway, the point,
The idea is to formalize West Ridge.
exactly, and put,
Has that been done yet, or that's what we're doing here?
that's what you're here for, and also to allow us to put the sign up. And I just wanted to make a point about it, is that it does cause confusion. It's not just about getting Amazon deliveries. It causes confusion for contractors coming down, because on the GPS, it says Westridge Drive, but when they drive down Level Street, there is no Westridge Drive. So they don't know where to turn in. So it does cause some confusion. But a point I wanted to make the board aware of is that in Heritage Hills, very close to West Ridge Drive and also Level, David Road comes up from Wilma Road, and that dead ends at Heritage Hills.
Right.
We have right there at that point a fire access road. It's not paved, but our Heritage Hills Road ends about,
Yes.
I would say, maybe 70 yards away or 60 yards away. And it's left there. We have a chain there now that the fire department has keys to. And if there's the reason it was designed, it was not for access to Heritage Hills, but if there's ever a problem, say at Wilma Road, that's blocked by, we've experienced that in the past in other towns where trees came down and emergency services couldn't get into Wilma Road. They wouldn't be able to get to Londonderry. They wouldn't be able to get to David Road houses. So through Heritage Hills, they would use that fire access emergency road. Having Westridge Drive clearly defined and clearly marked would improve response time. I worked for many, many years with a utility company, so I know what we're talking about. Utility companies have their own plans and they name them by streets because that's where Verizon and those companies, they have their cable heads. They terminate and they have on their plot map, so they have two places to look where they can find it. When you have utilities, especially in today's world, not like years ago, they subcontract out to North Carolina. They subcontract out to a place in Brooklyn to come up and put utility poles back in place or respond to some sort of emergency. They're not familiar with the area. If they don't have GPS working or they don't have, an emergency, you could lose all power. Westridge having a sign there would make it clearly define, this is a street. You would go in this direction here and you would get out to our fire road very quickly. There's no other, that's the quickest road to get to that David Road entrance is through Westridge Drive. So it really is crucial, not only to the Heritage Hills residents, but also to the town of Somers. You know, Westridge Drive is, it's like, I'm trying to think of a comparison or analysis, but you need a name on every street, just like every person has a name. You need a name on every street, and this is just not so non-defined little street. It's a major artery that comes in and out of Heritage Hill. So,
Without weighing in on the actual proposal, which may,
Yeah.
happen, anything that could be done in Heritage Hills so people can find their way around. I went 3 days. I was up there wandering around once, looking for somebody. How do I get out of here? So
yeah,
I think
I'm there 5 years. I'm still wandering around.
good. All right.
Well, here's the dilemma. I mean, our experts are saying it's confusing and you're saying it's not.
Well, it actually would clear up some confusion
Well,
because it doesn't, I grant you, and I didn't clear this with Gloria, but some of the other streets, there was a street called Plum Drive or Plum Brook, and that would be definitely confusing. And the the code department came in late spring of last year and took down 48 signs.
Is West Ridge the only street that has a sort of implied name?
That's the only one that has that name.
Has that name, but there are other streets that are named in,
Uh,
they're all,
we have West Hill Drive, and that's the only street we actually don't have names on any other street.
so it's West Ridge and West Hill,
West Hill, and then there's, yeah,
and then there's a West Hill Drive.
that's right,
So
And
there are
it-
two names in the entire.
the two. But it would certainly, I truly believe it would help responders, emergency responders.
What were you talking?
We also serve, Heritage Hills serves as an emergency center for Red Cross.
Right.
And in the event
Bring to another name.
of a dire emergency,
Out and see what happens.
But we're not talking about.
Yeah, so
The town shelter.
All right,
the town shelter. But I just thought,
got it.
it's not just about, aesthetics and making life easier for a delivery guy, but it would certainly make life a lot easier. It's a reference point, because a lot of times right now, we refer to it as the street formerly known as Westridge Drive. So,
We're not talking about putting street
Table
names,
Yeah.
small ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
go ahead.
Well, no, I'm hearing table it. I'm a little disoriented in terms of what we're being asked for. Maybe we can kind of table it and kind of
Yeah, we'll table to,
come up with a,
yeah, we'll come up with a solution. I think we're just gonna table this and anticlimactic for you guys
Alright.
being here, but
Alright.
I think we'll table it for another discussion
Alright.
or maybe next month. But, I have the comments from the other invested parties in this, right? And, but I'm hearing one thing that you're looking for, and then I'm hearing another thing for this, so we'll just table it for another another discussion.
I mean, I want to do stuff for safety reasons, it makes
Safety
sense, but with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think,
What?
Want to get an understanding of it better.
Yes.
yeah, that's all.
well, I really appreciate you listening to us tonight. That was a nice thing. It's a good move to make. It's the right thing. I know you're on a board and sometimes you wonder whether it's right or wrong. This is a right thing, so
Thank you, Joe.
thank you.
I think tabling it, you're overthinking it. I don't think anybody spoke
Yeah,
against
your name for the record?
Sal Santa Marina residents of Heritage Hill. I don't think anyone spoke against naming the street Westridge. It would certainly simplify things for everybody. I didn't hear one reason
I didn't-
not to do
I
it.
didn't say that because we have stuff from the Bureau of Fire Prevention, we have stuff from Engineering Department, we have stuff from the Highway Department.
And did they speak against it?
Yes, they do.
Yes,
So
They spoke against naming it Westridge?
you would want me to table it.
Yes.
So you want me to table it.
I'd like to see what they said against naming it
If you
Westridge.
go on, if you
No
go
problem.
online
We may have further
and
discussion.
look up at the agenda, all the attachments are there. So you can read what they've written.
It's-
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, that's,
Maybe have, Gloria with you when you do.
Just for your
Right.
reference, would it be all right if I email to you all a copy of what I said tonight about
That'd be
Sure.
great.
that's why?
You can give us that and we'll make copies if you want.
I'd be happy to do that.
That's
Thank
the
you.
better way.
The deputy clerk.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
Good evening, gentlemen and lady. My name is Arthur Epstein. I happen
Yeah.
to live on the corner of Westridge Drive and a side street halfway down. My primary comments are intended the next topic, number 8. But this topic number 7 is very interesting to me because I led the creation of a petition to the town that got 175 people, Heritage Hills residents, asking for improved safety on Westridge Drive. And what's so interesting is that all this discussion is how important Westridge Drive is for contractors and for people visiting and everything. The traffic on Westridge Drive is very high. It's a wiggly road. And if you live on any of the side streets of it, you take your life in your hands when you're making any left turn onto Westridge. And that this whole conversation is all about Westridge. There's a lot of traffic and there's more and more traffic. And when Heritage Hills was built, it was a little maybe. Now it's a main entrance into Heritage Hills. And it's just an accident waiting to happen. And I'm not going to jump ahead to topic number 8, but it's an accident waiting to happen. A few weeks ago, I told you gentlemen in an email that there was a school bus that actually made a U-turn on Heritage Hills just before the bend by Snowberry and Bellflower. And it's amazing that school bus didn't get hit. I'll reserve my other comments for topic number.
You wrote that letter. I was very interested in it. I read it
Yes.
carefully. I was just wondering, we don't control that. Did you talk to the school district? Like,
We sent the
are they
sent the
supposed to
email.
make that? When I was on the school
I can-
board, there were times that you can't
We
make a
sent the email
U-turn.
to them.
I can answer you.
Yeah.
I know that that you all don't control the school bus, but I was pointing out what the school bus driver was doing that was very dangerous. But more importantly, there was no response or comment to the underlying point that I made in my last sentence, saying, how come nobody's talking about the underlying safety issues, which this board was, by bad information, was convinced to undo the law that you passed on our behalf. And 3 incorrect statements were posed that night. And based on them, you rescinded that law that we want so badly.
Well, I think the issue became who's speaking for everybody up there. And I think that
I think it was
like
more than,
that.
I think it was more than who's speaking. Our attorneys advised that essentially it's private property. It's jurisdiction of the society to essentially put up signs. They come to us for approval, but what we're really doing is we're saying, if there's a code enforcement there, we can send the police and code enforce it. But you could put signs up all over, you could put stop signs, private stop signs up all over the place if the society wants you to do it.
Can
It's not
I respond to that, please?
Sure.
Maybe our attorney could.
Maybe our attorney could.
My understanding is that Heritage Hills is a condominium association or a group of condominium,
30.
correct?
Right.
So you govern your own property. It's not necessarily town property.
I beg to differ.
In accordance with your declaration and your,
In accordance with the original declaration, there was a document that was submitted to the town that listed every single traffic control sign in Heritage Hills for approval by the town.
so was that part of site plan approval for the original construction of?
I believe so.
Okay, so that site plan review, that's typically done through the planning board.
Right.
So they probably would have want to seen how you're establishing traffic control
Right.
devices.
Okay.
I don't necessarily believe that initial part of the application binds how Heritage Hills continues to manage itself. It's a self-managing or.
That's fine. I'm not disagreeing with that point. And we're jumping on to topic number 8. Can we,
We can move to topic number 8 here and I'll just
Okay.
read it and then you can continue with that.
condo 29,
Well, Arthur, let me get on to.
sorry,
Yeah, so we're gonna table number 7. And then let's go on to number 8, schedule a public hearing for one stop sign in Heritage Hills at West Ridge Drive, heading towards Lovell Street near the signpost making units 708 to 714 as requested by the Heritage Hills Society for July 10th, 2025. Go ahead.
I want to say, well, categorically, that I am strongly opposed to that request by society. I'll explain why in a minute, but I want to get back to the prior point. About, excuse me, I have the floor now. About
Give me 1 second, Gloria. Go ahead. Go ahead, Arthur.
About 2 years ago, I and the board of Condo 29 recognized that it was very dangerous through our condo as more and more traffic was going back and forth. We went to society and we said, we would like to have stop signs at essentially 2 intersections that didn't have 3-way stops. The president of society, who has been misrepresented here as a feeble old man who didn't know what.
All right,
he-
Arthur, I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay,
But I'm also going to say, this agenda item is not to discuss it right now. This is
Yeah.
if we determined to have a public hearing. You're welcome to come back if we schedule a public hearing to talk about it. This is not to this is to schedule a public hearing. And if we schedule a public hearing,
Then you're more than
you
welcome.
Come back and talk about it. This is not, the agenda item is not a public hearing right now, which is what you're turning it into, which is
Yeah.
I think what you were saying to
I-
the audience.
I happened to be planning to leave that next morning on a trip out of the state, and I can't be here. I am the one who knows the most about this.
You could submit the.
I would suggest
You can submit the
I-
statement and one of the
That'll
gentlemen.
be read
in
into
for
the
it.
record if you.
Public hearing's not open yet, sir.
Okay,
Wouldn't be part of the record.
okay,
As the board advised, typing up the statement and submitting it once the public hearing's open is your best course of action.
okay. Will you clarify that? When do I submit the statement?
So the board's gonna vote on whether to open a public hearing, which would likely be at the next meeting in July.
Okay,
So once that meeting, if they formally open it during that meeting, once it's open, you should submit it.
so the public hearing is not going to be on July 10th.
There will be.
It will be on July 10th. That's when we open up the public hearing.
Okay,
And then,
Yes. Should get it early and we'll know what it's for.
okay,
And that's,
Between now and then.
If the town's willing to accept it, yes,
We
okay.
once it's noticed.
Then
Yeah.
my closing statement is 1 sentence. Please do not approve that one particular stop sign. It's a sham that's hiding the bigger problem. Thank you, Joe.
thank you.
And who speaks for, when it comes up, the question
Why
will
we
be, who speaks for Heritage Hills will be the question.
Hello, Seth.
Sal, come on up, man. Come on up.
And what,
It's
Patty.
running away from us tonight. So it's
Patty,
fine.
Whatever you want.
I've never-
Sal, what item are you, what item are you,
Come on. I read the,
what item?
the Westwood Road,
Uh-huh.
The one
Number-
we just.
One that we just
Tabled.
tabled.
EMS, they say it will hurt their response. There's no houses on it. Who the hell are they responding to?
Well,
If you read this, you would have acted on it tonight.
well,
I hate to be sarcastic,
We have to listen
if I'm being sarcastic.
to perspective.
yes.
Act on 8.
All right, let's go on. Let's continue with number 8 here. Thank you, Sal. Thank you. I'll make the motion here to schedule the public hearing for July 10th.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right,
it's gonna be exciting.
I just don't
it's
get
gonna
it.
be a good one.
I don't get it.
I don't think I'll be here.
You will. You will be.
I don't get
All right, next up on here,
You better update Roland on, just told everybody.
Review referral response concerning the request to purchase one parcel from the town of Somers, 33 Forest Lane, lot 6.06-3-12. And B, to request to purchase one parcel from the town of Somers, 0 Hanover Street, lot 47.16-1-21. This is, to kind of go over this, right? We do have town-owned properties that have been foreclosed. There is a procedure that is in place. If you're interested in purchasing one of the properties, you would send a request to the supervisor's office. That email will be forwarded then to the receiver of taxes and to the assessor to confirm the property is a town-owned foreclosed property. If the town-owned foreclosed property supervisor then will forward to the superintendent and to the town engineer for initial review on their end, and that will determine if we want to keep the property for us or not. If the town wants to sell the property, add the request to the next town board meeting agenda, which we're kind of doing here, and then referral from the Highway Department, Assessor, Parks and Recreation Department, Planning and Engineering Department, and Open Space Committee for evaluation. Once all are received and in place on the town board agenda, we review it and we decide whether it wants to publish an invitation to bid on the property. The town clerk then publishes the invitation to bid on each property in the Somers Record 3 times over the next 6 weeks. This is also subject to a permissive referendum. And once bids are accepted, the town attorney will then start the deed process. All the bids will be sealed only. We'll come up with a price and then we'll make that known. But there is a lengthy process that we have to follow for this. And going forward is the way we have to do it. But if you're interested in one of our town-owned properties, that please send an email to the supervisor at somersny.gov.
Do you happen to have, what is the acreage of these two pieces of property put together? Do you happen to know that offhand?
I think somebody, almost, they can build a home on.
33 Forest Lane is in R10 zoning, approximately 10,018 square feet. And then the other one on here on 0 Hanover is approximately.
There's a map in here.
Yeah, there's a map in there too. Maybe I got it here.
I mean, I guess my point is, are we talking about acres and acres?
No, we're talking about
Because we have
little
had
lots.
objections
No,
from,
but this one is, see this,
are we
Yeah, but
talking
land-
about, a total of a half acre, talking about acre, or are we talking about 100 acres?
That's-
Which I doubt.
It's Forest Lane.
Open space. Yeah.
That's,
I don't know if it was buildable.
Phone?
boy, you do it all.
She does.
I asked Roland last week if this was 6 consecutive weeks, and I think he said yes, not every other week.
Six consecutive weeks for what? Posting or leaving the bid time
The
open?
bid notice.
Leaving it open
No, we have to post it
for 6 consecutive weeks.
for 6 each week for 6 consecutive weeks. And then when I read over the procedures that Kim came up with, it said 3 times. So it is a
It was over a 6-week
Three
period.
2-week periods.
yeah.
I think as long as it's renewed and posted for 6 consecutive weeks, you should be fine. I'm not sure about your notice requirements and how you post them.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
I'm not familiar with it, but if you have to submit it every week, I would do it for
So-
6 weeks.
But if you have to do one paper, one.
No, but Somers Record is a bi-week.
The other week, right?
Then bi-weekly, 6 consecutive weeks would be submitting it to them every 2 weeks for those 6 weeks.
Right, does that
Right, I understand your question.
consecutive weeks?
Yes, as long as it's posted. You submit it and then for 2 weeks they post it?
It only comes out once every 2 weeks, so you might get a paper on Thursday, but you for Tuesday.
Okay.
So is that posted during the
Okay,
time?
that's an
The
issue.
Paper,
Let's think on it.
And the other paper,
Yeah, I think
We'll have to
Lynn
check
said to me
other
last
paper.
week that it was
Somers Record.
6 weeks. Like, there's no, like, I can't do it in a bi-weekly paper.
yeah,
No, so I would do it in a weekly paper.
Right.
For 6 weeks, yes.
But
You have an alternative.
You can do it in 2 different papers though, right?
You can, as long as it's posted in at least one So it's on the town's website, and then a paper with circulation within the municipality, regular circulation. So regular circulation could be 1 week or bi-weekly, but you need 6 consecutive weeks. So if you have a weekly option available, I would post it in that.
Let's get the definite answer on
Okay, sure.
that, and then what we'll do is,
Because I don't want
then
to.
we'll, then,
Yeah, of
no,
course.
then we'll start it from there, but I'd like to make the motion to start the process.
Second,
All right, I'll make a
Okay.
motion for, the town clerk to circulate the bid.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Start the process here.
but this sort of raises
Start.
a larger question about, is the record adequate for posting now? If it's,
Sometimes it is,
sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't.
but like the
But-
public, hearing we just had,
Yeah, I get it.
it didn't have a publication. in
Totally get it.
Needed for that public hearing, so that went to the Journal News.
Good.
And both of them are our official.
And they are listed as our official. So yeah, I mean, it would seem like that legally
covered.
advice,
That's my son.
I would believe. That's what I,
That sounds like the right answer, but I'll confirm it and I'll email you tomorrow.
Great. All right, let's move on
but in
here.
any case, we're not talking here about acres and acres of property.
No, we're not, no.
Okay.
No, we're not talking.
There is a talk about
And
open
we're
space.
talking
No.
major.
Okay,
But that doesn't go to the open space anyway.
I understand.
That doesn't,
That-
so that,
I
I don't,
understand.
that
there's no
doesn't
cost.
qualify in the,
I
There's no.
I get it.
and so,
I understand.
yeah, I know you
that.
understand. Okay.
Their concerns.
Yes, I understand that too, but doesn't go to.
I'm trying to ameliorate those.
Okay, let's go. No Parks and Recreation, additional business, financial, authorize the 2025 general fund budget transfer to cover the cost of asbestos and underground tank removal at 5 Cottage Place per request from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. Make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, let's go on to do, we do have some current vacancies here. Affordable Housing, Assessment Board of Review, Veterans Committee, Zoning Board of Appeals. We did have a great meeting today with, for someone for the Veterans Committee, so I'll make the motion to appoint Roland Seaphone to the Veterans Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moved. Number 3 on this list for personnel, authorize the hiring of Michael Parati as a part-time available PTA labor in the Parks and Recreation Department at an hourly rate of $19 per memo dated June 4th, 2025, from Steve Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, retroactive to June 9th, 2025. Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Authorize the reappointment of Kate O'Keefe to the Somers Veterans Committee to a 2-year term ending May 31st, 2027. Make the mo, all in favor?
Aye.
Moved. Authorize the reappointment of Joseph Manna to the Somers Veterans Committee to a 2-year term ending May 31st, 27. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Consensus agenda, I'll make the motion to approve as presented below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We do have some upcoming meetings. Looks like July will be a busy one. July 10th, 7 o'clock, Town Board Work Session, Town Board Regular Meeting. August 14th, 7 o'clock. Both are combined again. December 4th and December 11th, 7 PM, Work Session and Regular Meeting.
And on July 10th, there will be public hearings on West Ridge.
Now
And,
there will be.
and there's one
West Ridge and the continuation from
continuation. That's right.
North Edge
Right. Okay.
and the affordable housing as well.
There's 3
Be a
there.
busy one.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got a comment? That's the time to come.
Yes, all right. Let's go to town board announcements. Somer Senior Programs presents Hudson Breeze and Harborfest. That is Wednesday, June 18th. That's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Bus departs from Van Tassel House and returns at 4 p.m. Your invited networking event introducing the Westchester County Partnership with RPI. That's Wednesday, June 18th, 6 p.m. Captain Lawrence Brewery Company. Westchester County Clean Energy Job and Resource Fair, hosted by the Westchester County Office of Economic Development and Sustainable Westchester. That's Wednesday, June 18th. That's a big day, June 18th, around the county from 2 to 6 at Westchester County Center. Somers Chamber of Commerce Annual 3v3 Basketball Tournament. That is Thursday, July 3rd, 4:30, Reese Park. That is also the same night as our Independence Day celebration. Oh, we got, that's true. And that is, that will start the Independence Day celebration. Will start at 5 and going until the end of the fireworks. Somers Park and Recreation, music in the park. There are various times: Thursday, July 10th, Thursday, July 17th, July 24th, July 26th, which is a Saturday, and Thursday, July 31st. Various bands. Should be a good one. And then North Salem Farmers Market, Backstreet, Croton Falls, New York. They have over 30 plus vendors, and that's June 14th. That is it for me. Patty, you want to do fun fact now, or do you want the? Let's do your fun fact. Let's do your fun fact. Yeah. Yeah, do it.
No.
Do it.
So I'm proud to say the Somers lacrosse team is off to the state champ. They're gonna be playing in Hobart Williams Smith College on Saturday, June 14th at 10 a.m. They're playing Janesville DeWitt, which is a school right outside of the city of Albany. I happen to know that town clerk very well. She's a great woman, but you know.
Is she playing?
Huh?
She's not playing tomorrow, though.
Nah,
Okay.
playing.
Oh,
All right. So my fun fact for today is when the Somers boys come back with that state championship, they will be the first high school to win both football and lacrosse in the same school year. Now, Yorktown likes to claim that title, but they did it in 1993 in June and in September. Does not count, boys.
Not the same school. Not the same.
Well, let's
That's ED.
Oh,
Go Cherish.
Yes.
Bill, anything?
Yes, I'd like to pile on to that. There is a watch party for those who would like to watch the game but can't travel that far at Somers High School in the auditorium at 10 a.m. It's free, it's complimentary, and wear red and come out and support our team.
How big's the screen gonna be?
The one that comes down from the big,
That's
very big.
good.
iPad.
I bet. Everybody gets their own. Rich, anything?
well, I just did want to say, we had that, serious discussion about the Constitution. And I did want to say, because I know, well, I'm not sure if they were looking at me or not. They all know that, and I've spoken to them about the issue, and I've given over 4,000 constitutions. I taught constitutional law for 35 years. So, I mean, I have an interest in it, and some knowledge. Much of what they say, I would agree with. I think any American would agree with. Constitution applies. I'm reading their statement. Applies and protects all people, all in the U.S. The constitutional rights are critical to health, safety, and welfare of all, and constitutional rights are also local rights under the 14th Amendment that nationalize the Bill of Rights and all rights in the first 10 Amendment. All states are obligated to follow those and any other right in there. I think that on the other ways, I mean, I think that there is an issue as large as that, and that is the people falling into camps, as we all know, in the House of Representatives or in the Senate, sometimes even in the county. And if this side is for it, this side's against it, which is fine, and you can argue those out. I think we should stay within our purview, and which is that we talk about things in Somers. And to go outside of that, in my opinion, regardless of any personal views I might have, if I were going to use this seat as a way to express those personal views, I'm just not sure that that is appropriate. And I feel to some extent I'd be abusing my position. Now, some may certainly disagree with that. In private life, we all can be as passionate as we want about any of these things, and we all are concerned. But there are two sides of things. And I think, political parties, that's what they're about. And as long as it's peaceful and respectful, that's a lot to ask today, though. Peaceful, respectful, and reasonable. But that's what we should do. I think that's what we should all follow. And these are not opportunities for expressing personal points of view. And some of these things, when you're saying, that there are attacks, writs of habeas corpus, that some of these things I may or may not agree with, but we have a Supreme Court, we have a court system, count on them to do the right thing, to make those interpretations. I don't think it's up to me or this board to make those interpretations. But as the supervisor has said several times in his statement, and he may or may not agree with me on all these constitutional arguments, which is fine. But he said, you know, the town of Somers absolutely supports the Constitution, the constitutional system, checks and balances, the Bill of Rights, the rights of all individuals. And when something occurs in the town that affects those, the town will take action in some way to protect those constitutional rights and protect the Constitution itself. So that's my personal point of view. And I just want to express it since there was a question. I've been thinking about it tonight.
I appreciate that. I mean, essentially, this has been, we've conducted ourselves as Team Somers, all right? And, you know, although we get people before us and express team resistance or they can express them, but, you know, we basically keeping our eye on the ball, and, you know, we're focused on is the safety of this community. You know, we're pushing back on things that affect us, like home rule challenges and the like, and you know, and BESS, you know, battery plants on our borders, and we speak up when it's really affecting our, you know, our community. You know what? For us to arbitrate opinions is a race to the bottom. We'll just divide the town. It's really not our place to do that. I mean, you can look at this and you can make all these arguments over the last 4 years. Makes no sense for us. I believe in the Constitution. I think our founding fathers created a system. We're working through this. You know, what was expressed four weeks ago is different now because things have taken place on a national level that basically are arbitrating all of this. So I think that, you know, let us stick to our business here and, you know, we're for the town.
I think we do best when we avoid partisanship, partisan differences, partisan ideologies. There's enough of that for sure. So I also believe that in school boards and town boards, now I'm going to get the rest of the people who used to vote for me against me, since I already got half of them.
That's all right.
I think that political parties should not play a part in town politics or school boards or things like that, because it may take you off of your job of what is defined. So if anyone else has not been offended, call me and I will find something that I might be able to offend you on, but is what I sincerely believe and have always believed is that.
I did 6 years on the school board and I resisted, you know, all the political, you know, things that, you know, either side would come to me and say, do this or do that. The mandate there is to educate children. It's to do it in a safe way. You do it at the best cost possible. And you want to essentially elevate the level of the town with this education process here. And that's the goal. You don't want to use it as a platform to, you know, to advocate, you know, an agenda. So we agree.
So two things. One, Richard couldn't have said any better. I agree with him. I mean, I know he was reading part of the resolution that was put in front of us, and I think we all would agree with probably 3 of the paragraphs. But there are some paragraphs that do go sort of offline and would be considered, in my opinion, partisan. But I think, you know, there are certainly things that we would both agree with. And more importantly, I want to congratulate all of the graduating seniors, of which my daughter is one.
Yeah, Brenna.
Who will be graduating in about 2 weeks from today, I think. As they finish up, they have their prom tomorrow night, and then another week to close things up. But we wish them all luck in their future endeavors, be it college, the military, or going right into the workforce. So congratulations, and I'm looking forward to the graduation.
Go right ahead, Patty. Oh, you have to close it.
Can I add then one more thing?
No, I just wanted to say, very well spoken from everybody here on the board tonight about the Constitution and how we look at things. I appreciate you guys both expressing that. Thank you so much. And
they should know there's been some written discussion within the town board, so not like this has been, I don't want them to think that this is
Ignored.
totally ignored.
No,
There
no.
has been some.
No, there's been communications with the town board based on this. And we've gone back and forth and we've talked about it.
Individually,
Yes, and
not collectively.
Bob, and I'll say this, and Richard kind of alluded to it. We've had issues like this come up before, and we as a board have basically said, we're gonna back off. It's really not for us. You know, we all support the Constitution, but there are other issues. And we just want to do what's best for the town of Somers. And that's what we try to endeavor to do every day.
100%.
Mm.
One more thing, go man. Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of the Constitution, we wouldn't have a Constitution if we didn't have the Declaration of Independence. And speaking of the Declaration of Independence, of course, the town is having our July 4th on July 3rd. Please come one, come all. There will be a lot of flag waving and not a lot of partisanship. So please come one, come all.
It's a backyard barbecue for everybody.
Yeah,
Good point.
the Great American Barbecue.
Great American Barbecue. We got some great bands. We got some fun times. Yeah, everybody should have. Hopefully, we'll be about the same numbers as we were last year, maybe slightly higher. It'll be a great night. We got some really good events and hot dog eating contest again from our superintendent, Nick DeVito.
Yeah,
Put
he
it
did,
on.
amazingly.
He does.
MC.
He's a great MC.
Oh,
And
Ben's disgusting, but he's a good
Even-
yeah, the event's disgusting. Yes,
it is.
great time. It's a great time.
Joey
So
Chestnut, let's bring.
please come out and support, especially the Lions Club, the Chamber, of course, and everybody else who's involved in it.
Clubs.
So before I close out, Patty, you want to say one more thing, don't you?
Well, for those who anything about the Constitution, we don't really know when it was signed. July 4th is just when we celebrate. Anyway,
That was-
I would be remiss if I didn't wish each and every one of you a happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty.
Thank you.
That's right.
Appreciate
That
it.
this weekend?
It's this
Next
week.
weekend.
Is
Yeah.
that this weekend?
Didn't know that.
Done.
Yeah, happy Father's
Doing what I love best.
Somers.
The field.
Oh, good.
All right. If that is nobody has anything else, I'll make the motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.